Today is February 25th, and the quote today is called Real Power. Real power is not controlling others. It is controlling yourself. Your greatest victory is to conquer your mind and senses. So in the material sense, we think of power as control over others. You're a general in the army, you're a president of a country, you're a powerful person. They say the president is the most powerful person in the world. He's not the most powerful person in the world. The most powerful person is the one who's conquered his mind and senses, not the one who has rule over millions of people or has rule over the most powerful country. He might be ruler of the most powerful country, but ultimately he's not the most powerful person. Yudhishthira Maharaj said that in order to conquer Krishna, first we must conquer ourselves, we must conquer our own mind and senses. Because unless we are self-controlled, we can't conquer Krishna in the sense of conquering Krishna, meaning to attract Krishna, to attract love of Krishna. Because when we love Krishna more than we love our own mind and our own senses, then we can, so to speak, melt Krishna's heart. We can attract him. Because love is self-sacrifice. Love is giving. Love is devotion. Love is when you try to satisfy the senses of another person. So in the material concept, in which we've been conditioned, we've grown up thinking power to be a certain thing, either physical strength, or intellectual strength, or business acumen, or specific abilities by which you can control and manipulate either material objects, situations, or people. And that's not power. So our big challenge as devotees is to understand and to focus on the real enemy, which is the mind and senses. Because if our mind and senses are not controlled, we cannot love Krishna, we cannot revive our relationship with Krishna. Even if you look at something like japa. Japa has this challenge of controlling the mind, of going internally, of not being distracted. And it's really a big obstacle for many devotees who chant japa but allow their minds to wander. They don't actually consciously hear the Maha Mantra. They don't actually consciously focus on chanting because it's difficult and because it takes effort. And therefore, their japa is greatly affected by their distraction, which, as we know, is one of the 10 offenses. And so Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, offensive chanting simply means that I'm chanting without trying to avoid the 10 offenses. I'm chanting without making an effort to avoid the 10 offenses. And so if I'm chanting without trying to control my mind or situate myself in a peaceful place where I'm not distracted, being away from any kind of distraction is a form of sense control. And even if you're away from distraction, then you have the internal distractions of thinking about so many things that can distract you from chanting. So you see that the key element in good japa is focus, to not be distracted by what's going on in your life. Conquering of the mind, conquering the heart, conquering the senses. To follow the regulative principles, it's absolutely necessary that you conquer the mind, you conquer the senses. So we can see that the basis of Krishna consciousness to be successful requires that we conquer the mind and senses. That's the real conquest. You may be aware of the 7 habits of highly effective people. What Stephen Covey discovered was just how human nature works. And one of the things that he rightly said, which I appreciate, he said that private victory precedes public victory. If you cannot control yourself, then how can you be successful in the world? And I often like to say that if you're at home not controlled, then your so-called control in public is a bit of a fake. If you're not tolerant at home, your so-called tolerance in public is a bit of a fake. If you're not kind at home, your so-called kindness to others is a bit of a fake, because you haven't really conquered yourself. You haven't learned how to be nice with the people you love or should be nice to. You haven't learned to tolerate the little problems in your life at home that nobody sees. And so we need to really get into this mood of private victory comes before personal victory. Whatever you want to be in your life, do it at home. Do it in your private life. And if you show it in public, but you don't do it in private, there's a problem. You're showing that you're controlled, but actually you're not. So if we are controlled, we should be controlled 24/7. So let's meditate on that. Let's look at our life. Let's see how in our private world we are exemplifying the qualities and the nature and the level of sense control that we want to exhibit in the public world in all our activities. Hare Krishna.